was using tarot to help guide me through the process, and I was always getting positive messages about it. So I thought, okay, it's safe to do this. And yeah, one day I came into work and I was like, okay, I have to resign today. Like, I just felt like I cannot do one more day. And I also feel like that was my soul as well, like talking to me, not just me being sick of what I was doing and where I was, but it was like, I don't know, like a higher power saying, you've got to go now kind of thing. And
I don't know. It's just
yeah.
continuously you're striving. What if we loosen up a bit ourselves, Then it's so much easier.
It's about being happy in the moment, the power of now. I find that when I'm truly happy in the moment, not thinking about the future or the past, then the desires don't matter so much.
Mm.
Yeah, but it is hard, someone that you trust to pull cards for you. And most of the time you'll find that the cards actually validate what you feel in your heart, telling you that it is the right thing to do. So.
Hello, beautiful souls. So here we are today, this amazing podcast, and we are hosting Jacqueline Brad. She really caught my attention with her interesting content about tarot readings, which are devoted to readings about love, how to find your beloved one, your significant other. So, Jacqueline, could you please elaborate a bit more? What are you doing today in life? What is your area of study? And just like, what can you help, to all beautiful women who come to you? Because I understand that you have lots of clients.
Yeah, so basically my passion is to help women with their love lives, and also men. I get male clients as well. I find that a lot of my audience are really struggling with their love lives. They may have broken up with somebody special to them, or they're just wondering when they're going to be with somebody who they want to be with. I find that, yeah, there's a lot of people around the world struggling with that. So I aim to put readings out there, just with messages that I receive that can help people with their love lives. Because I think tarot has really insightful messages, and, spiritual messages, lessons that we can learn from relationships, and lessons that we can learn from, patience and positive thinking. And yeah, I just think this whole journey, like the whole journey, with
Yeah, it's like
relationships
the
is a really
holistic whole journey. I
yeah.
loved what you wrote, actually, tarot readings that inspire. When I just started reading tarot just 10 years ago, I remember how I was horrified by a few cards. I just entered one
Mm.
of those metaphysical stores, and, it's when I saw the Tower card or the Death card. And when you read from the classical deck, right, all these
Mm.
readings, all what is written in the guidebook, you are horrified by what is written there. So when I just got stumbled into your account and I saw this small message, tarot readings that inspire, I got really interested in. Could you please let us know, how do you use these interesting tool, right? How do you use it to inspire?
Okay. Yeah, it's funny you said that, because before I started doing tarot, I actually was really scared of those cards as well.
Mm.
And I was scared of tarot, full stop. But yeah, once I got into it and really started playing with it and learning and getting better at it, I actually get excited by those cards now, the Tower and the Death card, because it means that, things are moving and things are shaking up. And
Mm.
that's the whole purpose of why we're here, to learn and grow, and those two cards,
Mm.
are symbolic of that. Yeah, I found that when I was learning tarot, and I haven't been doing it that long compared to some people, I actually started doing tarot seriously around about the time of the pandemic.
Mm.
So, we were locked down and there wasn't really anything to do. And there was also a lot of uncertainty. So I had a tarot deck and I thought, yeah, I'm really going to get into it now and see what happens. And yeah, I just started to find that the messages I was getting were actually really positive and inspiring, like, showing how you can work through an issue. I mean, often tarot gives you messages about why things aren't going the way you want them to, like it can be your mindset, or limiting beliefs, or feeling like, there's no
Mhm.
way things can get better, like that's another limiting belief. And yeah, the more readings I did for myself and then started doing for other people, the more I realized that tarot is not meant to be scary, and it's not meant to be negative. It's there to show you, hey, this could be where you're going wrong, and this is what you can do to get back on track to get what you want. Yeah, and there's also a lot of really, really interesting spiritual messages in tarot, I find, like morals of the story, I call it.
Yes.
And yeah, and
Listening to you, I come to that understanding that you do more so-called like intuitive tarot reading. That's correct. Do
yeah,
you
well,
use like the guidebook more, or you just do the readings from the heart based on the symbolism?
in the beginning, I was actually just looking up the meanings online. Like I had a few. I didn't go to the guidebook. I had a few websites that I went to regularly and just sort of looked them up as I was learning. And now I can look at the cards and kind of understand instantly like what the meaning of that card is. But sometimes another message will come through about the card. Like maybe it could be the literal image on the card. How do I explain it? Like
Mm. And
yeah,
you
it could be.
mentioned that, I'm sorry?
Oh, no, it's okay. Yeah, I was just thinking, like sometimes a card will come up and I'll think that's the typical meaning isn't the right meaning here. Like I'm supposed to be looking at the actual image on the card to get the message here. So yeah, it's just whatever comes to me at the moment, I guess. It could be the traditional meaning, or it could be an image, or it could be color, or it could even be the way that the card fits in with the rest of the cards in the reading. I just go with whichever feels the most accurate.
Yeah, it feels like you are more intuitive tarot reader already. And it's just like I wanted to pay attention to all our listeners here that, look, she just started not that long ago during the pandemic, and she's already reading it intuitively well. So this is an inspiration for all the beginners here that when you just go deeply, you get involved into the topic, how far you can go. And look, this girl is already practicing. She is really having clients. She has a decent audience. I can see it in Instagram. And it's quite interesting messages which she is portraying there. It's all about how can you either restore relationships, how can you heal it, whatever, just from the perspective of your heart. And how can you balance it out within you so that the world around you would reflect you back and smile you back, right? So your
Yeah.
messages are really kind, really intuitive, and really beautiful. I would
Oh,
highly
thank you.
recommend all of you guys just to check it out. Now, I'm still really interested. What made that shift? So you started during the pandemic. You started probably from the classical deck, right? From Radiant Rider-Waite?
Yeah, I started with, sorry, just got to plug this in. I started with right away, and then I found that when I started combining oracle card with tarot, the readings were just getting even more accurate because I'd have my tarot cards that I'd pulled out, and then I'd pull out the oracle cards, and they would actually match exactly what the tarot cards were saying. So I was like, oh wow, it was almost like a validation, like, okay, that's exactly what this reading means. And yeah, I started to get, even deeper messages when I threw some oracle cards in there as well. But yeah, Rider Waite was the first deck that I started with. And it's actually what I learned with. Like I did an online tarot course and they used the Rider Waite. And yeah, I just kept using it because I was so familiar with the cards and the colors and the symbols. And yeah, I thought that was a good way to learn. And now I use your
But
card.
how did you did you make that shift from that fear to receiving those, Tower, Death, I don't know, like Wheel of Fortune, these types of cards? How did you break the pattern and started how to say perceiving and receiving the inspiration from the cards? Because we all start, we'll start reading and we have that internal fear inside us. Oh my God, what if I receive, these deaths? What if I
Yeah.
receive hanged men? So what actually was that trigger, which is like was a aha moment for you, just like, oh, now I can use it differently. Now I should not be afraid actually reading it and just like, with trembling knees, they are under the table that what if there will be this card?
Yeah. Well, I think what it was in the past, I had actually gotten tarot readings, and I was terrified of the answers. And I was watching tarot readings online as well, like you were saying, getting really scared when certain cards came up, and then I don't know. One day I just thought I want to understand this. Like I want to understand tarot. Like I need to know. And then I became really determined to learn it. And I felt like I didn't want to give my power away to someone else. like I wanted to understand the cards and be able to do my own readings and have that power myself to be able to understand. So yeah, hang on, my light's just gone off. Sorry, just a second.
So you see, guys, basically the inquiry matters. She wanted to understand. She wanted to figure out how it actually works and not to give her power away. I see those two tremendously powerful statements here. I want still my power be with me, and I want to understand. I am curious. And this is, if we really look at it, do you remember the card, the Fool? So the Fool starts from that curiosity, right? This is a
Yeah.
beautiful card. That's how we start our way in here, in that cycle.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think, yeah, it was a lot about, taking my power back. And I felt that something intuitively wasn't right with the readings that I was getting. Like I think maybe you saw the post that I made yesterday about tarot readers who are negative and can give really harmful messages to people. And I think, yeah, I wanted to understand tarot myself and maybe counteract that, like, do tarot readings for good and uplift people, because there just seem to be so many tarot readings out there and tarot readers who are really making people upset. And I've had messages from people who've had negative readings and asking me, am I going to be okay? Is this true? And yeah, it's just really sad to
Yeah,
see.
you're totally true here. I think every tarot reader who starts going into that spirituality aspect of their soul, right? We start rising spiritually. We have that internal code of conduct. So we don't go into any kind of tarot readings unless we cleanse ourselves fully, because otherwise it's kind of like, imagine you go and you have that tremendous responsibility in front of another party, and another party is listening to you, and I don't know which type of consciousness is in front of me, because every person has their level of lens through which they look at the world. Now you have your lens. Imagine if your lens is dirty and you put it
Yeah.
on, that's it. And you know, and you transmit that message to another party, and that beautiful soul sits like this in front of you, and then it takes the wrong message. In this
Yeah.
way, we guys, by the way, we start accumulating negative karma
Yeah.
because we gave the wrong advice, not even
Mm.
knowing that the message was through the dirty lens, so
Yeah.
being very attuned to that cleansing aspect. How, by the way, do you cleanse yourself in between tarot reading sessions?
I used to have, a big ritual, with sage and crystals, and now that I've been traveling, I basically just ask the angels to cleanse me and cleanse my cards, and yeah, and before every reading, I always ask a higher power for help with my readings. And then I find that I often get the most accurate readings when I do that, and the most insightful. And yeah, when I do that, the readings are never scary. They're always, encouraging and gentle. And
Who is your favorite
yeah,
angel? Who is
sorry.
your guardian? Who is your favorite angel? Who is your guardian?
I call on Archangel Michael a lot and Gabriel.
Mm.
And also
I
I
have
just ask
here
them.
Michael as well. I love him. I really love him. He stands still. Look at this. How
Oh,
he stands
oh,
in
that's
here.
cool. Oh, wow.
Oh,
We
I
were just
really
talking
love
about him.
him. He has a sword, but the sword is hidden, so he
Oh,
stands
right.
firmly on the ground, and he
Oh,
has
okay.
the shield, but he
Oh,
has
okay.
wings as well, so
Oh,
there
yeah.
is there is so much symbolism here, right?
Yeah. Wow. Where did you get that from?
I think I took it from one of those metaphysical stores. There are a ton of here in Toronto, so every time I
Mm.
just bump into something. So
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've got to stay away from those stores because I don't have any more room left in my suitcase. So yeah, I can't be tempted to buy any more things. But yeah,
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 we
that's
are
that's
all
how
here
I.
collectors. If you go into tarot realm, you become a real collector. How many decks do
Oh,
you have, by the way? And don't
oh,
worry, I met a
uh,
woman who has 500, so
how many do I have? I don't have that many at the moment. Probably about 6 or 7. I used to have more, but it was strange. I had a break-in in my home, and they
Mm.
actually stole my oracle cards, which was really weird.
Oh,
So yeah, and other things. But I thought, that's going to be bad karma for you,
that's
stealing
interesting.
stealing my oracle cards. Yeah. But I have, yeah, when I'm traveling, I have about 4 decks that I
Mm.
travel with, because I can't fit any more in my suitcase. But yeah, overall, I think I have about 7 at the moment, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to buy a heap more.
By the way, guys, she's a perpetual traveler already for 2 years. I just opened up this secret. She's from Australia and she's traveling for 2 years. Can you imagine? What a life. Reading tarot on the way. What a life.
Coming up to 2 years. So I've had to improvise because I can only fit so many cards in my suitcase. So I have a like a makeup bag, and I took all my cards out of their boxes and just put them all in the makeup bag. So yeah, it
Mm.
takes up a lot less room now.
You know, I've been traveling for 10 years, and I know that once you start traveling, it's kind of like a deep spiritual self journey because you keep
Mm.
interacting with the world and you have to change or you will suffer. So,
Yeah.
so I just wanted to ask about your personal experience. How did you actually find that courage within you to start that traveling? What triggered you? Because you were sitting, let's say, in Australia, right? So,
Mm.
but somehow you started that journey. What triggered you? And what did you learn along the pathway during these 2 years?
Yeah, well, I guess the pandemic had just finished, and I was in a 9 to 5 office job, and I'd been in that job for about 7 years, and I was just getting this urge every day, like growing stronger and stronger. I've got to go do something else. And finally, it was 2022. Yeah, I quit my job and sold all of my stuff, sold like sold
Oh
everything.
my God, it's so courageous.
Yeah, yeah, and I took off. Yeah, went to the started in the States, and yeah, started traveling around. And I think I just had this real urge to prove to myself that I could do it, and that
Hmm.
I could do challenging things. And even just hiring a car and driving on the other side of the road in LA, in like the work. On the busiest road that I'd ever been on. Just things like that.
Hmm.
Yeah, it just made me feel kind of proud of myself, and yeah, proving to myself that I can do anything really. And yeah, working my way up. Like I'm in Washington now. I went through Oregon, Seattle, and now I'm sort of in the north of Washington, about to go into Canada. And yeah, every day is an adventure. Like every day is different, and having to learn new transport systems, and meeting new people. And yeah, I just like those challenges, like,
Hmm.
setting myself challenges and overcoming them. And travel's something that I've always felt like I'm only truly happy when I'm traveling. So yeah, I don't know if it's that freedom or new experiences every day, but yeah, it was just a matter of me having been in the one place for too long and just really feeling like I have to go out and yeah.
That's interesting. So you were having, like, that's what I wanted to ask you about. What actually triggered you to move out of one place? And now you mentioned that you had pain in one place, right? Or you were being in one place. How did you heal it well? So what actually triggered you to fly out? Because, we all sit and wait for something and we all go,
Mm,
tomorrow I will do it. You know
yeah.
what? I will do it. And I hate my 9 to 5 job, just something like this. I will
Mm,
start traveling. I will start writing books. I will start just doing impact into the world. But you know what? You started actually doing it. So I
yeah.
want to understand what was that trigger which
Mhm.
actually pulled you and made you do it? Because we all actually do dream about
Yeah.
that life which you live right now. So I
Yeah.
just want you to basically elaborate it maybe in such a way, thinking about those beautiful souls who are right now listening to us to help
Mm,
them to do that first step. What do they
yeah.
need to know? What do they need to hear from you to do that step? And what is that framework maybe like which
Mm,
allowed you to do that step? Because there are so many girls here and guys who are struggling with manifestation. They visit so many manifesting courses, but it still doesn't work. They pay a ton of money for this
mm,
course and the other course and that course, but it just doesn't work. And then we just sit like this, and we feel pity for ourselves, and
yeah.
okay, there is another course and another one, but guess what? Here is the real girl, Jacqueline, and she made it. I want to understand what allowed you to actually make it happen. What is the framework?
Yeah. Well, yeah, it was something I've been thinking about for a long time. And I don't know if it was like the stars aligning or something astrological, but at one point I just got to the stage where thought, I just can't do this anymore. Like I could feel it in my body. My body felt really heavy, and I just constantly felt like I should be somewhere else. And I was scared. I'd been in my job for 7 years, and I just didn't know what was going to happen. But I mean, at that time, I was also getting right into tarot and doing my own readings, and that also helped me. I do readings for myself and ask, if I do this, what's likely to be the outcome? And I wasn't getting scary cards. I was getting positive cards. Like, go for
Your
it.
angels were guiding you. Your angels were guiding you.
Yeah, I was using tarot to help guide me through the process, and I was always getting positive messages about it. So I thought, okay, it's safe to do this. And yeah, one day I came into work and I was like, okay, I have to resign today. Like, I just felt like I cannot do one more day. And I also feel like that was my soul as well, like talking to me. Not just me being sick of what I was doing and where I was, but it was like, I don't know, like a higher power saying, you've got to go now, kind of thing. And I opened my computer at work and I clicked the resign button. We have an online system and you can go in and resign. And so I clicked the resign button and I just felt so much relief. Like, I just felt like this huge weight had been lifted off me, and I was like, I'm free. And at that point I wasn't feeling scared. I was just ecstatic. And yeah, and from then on, I started selling everything, and that all went smoothly, and I applied for a visa and that went smoothly. And I was like, okay, everything seems to be falling in place. And yeah, then I had a farewell party and I took off. But yeah, as for the framework, yeah, like I said, tarot definitely helped me. Like, helped reassure me that everything was going to be okay.
So wait, you kind of like already were earning online, or it was like, or you had just some savings at that moment?
Oh, I had savings.
Mm. So look,
Yeah,
guys, she had savings. She pushed the resign button. And she
yeah,
was interested in tarot. And then she made the farewell party and she took off. Okay, so I'm
yeah,
just trying to build here the sequence, what happened. So
yeah. So
action steps, right?
yeah. So like, what I find with manifesting is, like, things aren't going to just fall into your lap. It's also, you've got to plan as well and take steps towards what you want to do. Yeah, and I find that when you take steps towards what you want to do, the universe will step in and help you along the way. And
There is grace. There is grace when you start doing action steps. Actions is the language of this universe, right? So you are the
yeah.
living representation of it, in fact. Because guess what? Many here talk only about energy. And I support energy alignment. I really love this thing. Without energy alignment, it's hard to do things in life. It's actually a basic, a foundation to start seeing things clearly, right? But
Mm.
if you just sit under the tree body and you just align your energy, nothing will happen, So you need to do something. Guess what? This girl, she had some savings. So she thought about this before, probably, I guess.
Mm.
Number two, so intelligence matters. Number two, what she has done, she pushed the resign button. It's also important.
Everyone should push the resign button.
But before pushing it, they need to have some savings, right? So we don't want our beautiful souls here to be left on the streets. It's important.
And I also sold everything as well. Like, I sold everything that I owned. So that helped me, build up some more funds. And I think that was also saying to the universe, okay, I'm ready to just let go of everything and take off. And
Yes, you said it also with your actions, in fact, because you didn't
Mm.
say it just sitting under your desk, in your house or in your work. You also said it with your actions. So that's what I noticed in my story as well. When I just started doing certain things in life, then
Yeah.
things started happening. But you never do without intelligence. What I love about your story here is that you accumulated a certain amount of money, something to
Mhm.
support you. You also sold things to also support you along the way. You had
Mm.
some area of interest. You didn't go to nothing. It was also the pre-planned something, probably, the way I see it. So you want to go somewhere and pre-plan it. For example, my husband, he sold his business, and I remember he didn't think what will be next. He had like around 1 or 2 years of deep frustration, depression, not
Mm.
knowing what to do next. And it was
Yeah.
like, it was really hard time, So I would never recommend anyone to sell their business or to be like in that limbo, when they are in between jobs, they don't know what to do. You need to pre-plan it. Intelligence matters.
Yeah, yeah. And you also like you also want to have a backup plan or something to fall back on, just so you don't have that fear like that.
What was your backup plan?
Well, I mean, if things
Come
if
on,
things didn't,
it's inspiration for our beautiful souls here.
yeah,
Because they want to have that self-talk as well. What if, what if? I will share
well,
mine as well.
well, I had two backup plans. So my first backup plan was to apply for a visa that would allow me to work if I had to.
Mm.
So that there was that to fall back on. Like if I was, if I went broke while I was traveling, I could still work. And also there was the other plan where worst case scenario, I just go back home and work again, and I'd just be back where I started, but I wouldn't be any worse off. Like, so,
Exactly.
yeah.
That's exactly the plan which I had actually. Because I sat
Mm,
down with myself with a sheet of paper, with some journal, and I just asked myself, what will be the worst case scenario? It's
mm,
not the scenario when I will not have food on my plate. I will still have something when I get back to my parents' house.
yeah.
Or even if I don't have parents, let's say someone doesn't have parents and they say, oh, it's easy for to say to you, but I have some skill set. And even if I
Mm,
don't have anything, I can go and be a janitor, just something. I can
yeah.
do something and earn money, just for some
Yeah.
basic job and start living somehow. So, I mean, like, it's not the situation when you will end up being completely hungry and not knowing what to do with your life. Let's be
Yeah.
honest with ourselves. And that is giving enormous freedom, isn't it?
Mm, I mean, you might lose out on a promotion in the job that you're with, or, in my situation, I sold my apartment, and, now I'm not on the property ladder anymore. But
Mm.
at that time, I just felt like it was a burden, like all the bills that were involved with it, and I just felt like I was trapped. So I
Mm.
thought, I can
You
just start again.
mentioned,
I can always start again. Like I've done it before, and at a
yes.
much younger age, and I can do it again. So what?
I love it. I absolutely
Yeah,
love it. You mentioned property ladder. It feels so heavy. And then I thought career ladder. It feels heavy, really. Imagine if you got one and it's just like property ladder, career ladder, relationship ladder. I don't know. It's just
yeah,
continuously you're striving, you're striving. What if we loosen up a bit ourselves, then it's so much easier. What is the course of all desires, if we ask ourselves? Jacqueline, can you tell me what is the course
so
of all? What do you think is the course of all desires?
to be happy.
I mean, this is an interesting answer, but my question was, I would say, consider desire is a fruit of a tree. Okay.
Mm,
What is the root of that tree? What actually, let's say desires are usually concrete. I want to just write a book. I want to do impact. I want to just become this person. I want to become a dentist. I don't know. I want to travel the world. I want to go to Canada. I don't know. I want to go to Antarctica. These are all desires. But the interesting thing is today, let's say the desire got fulfilled. But tomorrow we have that small release, but we are again in tension. So how can we break down that tree? That's what I'm thinking.
mm.
Did you ever think about this? Like, what is the root? What is the root of that poisonous tree of desires?
Yeah, I suppose when it comes down to it, it's about being happy in the moment. You know, the power of now. I find that when I'm truly happy in the moment, not thinking about the future or the past, then the desires don't matter so much.
Mm,
Yeah, but it is hard, because we're so conditioned to thinking about the future and dwelling on the past, and yeah, it can be hard to be in the now. But
mm.
I think, yeah, if we can get to that point, then yeah, all those desires don't have as much of a hold on us.
Hmm.
What
That's
what do you think?
interesting. I actually, I thought a lot about this topic. I'm sorry, I'm just
Mm,
crying because of lots of light, electrical
yeah.
light here. I sometimes thought, my eyes cannot handle this electricity already. So
Mm,
desire is an interesting thing. So I actually was thinking and contemplating a lot. So think from that perspective. If we need to have still desires to manifest some things here, right?
mm,
But I loved what you said. What if I stop and I observe myself, right? What if I stop and just observe the moment? And I contemplated about it because when we stop and we observe the moment, we automatically go to this. space together, right? Together with ourselves. And when we are in the moment, when we are like with ourselves, we kind of like feel that loosened state, not pressured, but loose,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So I actually I relate to what you say. Why? Because when I'm in loosened state, guess what's happening? I can see better. It's even
Yeah.
like if we look from the eye's perspective, pressure in the eyeball creates lots of eye diseases. When eye
Mm.
is pressured with muscles, like the people, that's why they don't see. They have like myopia, astigmatism, like all these farsightedness, nearsightedness, whatever it is. But why? Because there is some disbalances with the eyeball, right?
Yeah.
So I was thinking this pressure, because we perceive this game kind of like too much. We perceive that that's all what exists. What if
Mm.
we perceive that that's just a role in the game? It's
Yeah.
just one of the roles. For example, I was married already for nearly 10 years. And like before, I just like was always thinking about this role of a wife. Now my role is a wife. It's my first role. And I know it's a role. I got loosened in it. So
Mm.
I loosened in that perspective. I stopped overthinking stuff. What is more important, my career or my husband? My career or my husband?
Yeah.
Now I'm very loosened. I do like this. I wake up, I first serve my husband, then I do whatever I need to do to be happy today.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
tell me your approach, by the way, because I was thinking from desire's perspective, really that thing like loosening, and then I was thinking now about these priorities. Do you have a boyfriend or husband?
No, I was married, but but I'm not anymore. Yeah.
So you're kind of like
Um,
in that silence mode at this time.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, now I'm
Beautiful,
just,
beautiful time. I loved it so much. Enjoy
yeah.
it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's nice to just be able to, go wherever you want and do what you want when you
Yes, yes. I think you
go.
are like that beautiful flower, which I see right now in my garden, in my
Oh,
backyard here, because flowers need that time to be in that silence before they start opening up and attracting their bees. We have, by the way, let me show you the tarot card. Do you remember? You have my deck, right?
yeah. Yeah. I've got it here.
Do you remember the card, the lovers? I just want to show you something which is specifically related to what I'm talking about right now. There is like Eve there, you remember, and Adam. Eve and Adam, they're like in the paradise. And Eve, she has like a beautiful rose flower in
Oh, yeah.
her, yeah, in her pussy area. So she has that flower there. And then he has the bee. So
Mhm.
we don't have it. We don't have it in the classical Rider-Waite deck. Let me find it. It's just like it's hiding from me in here. It's just such a tremendous card. I
Were you
wanted
inspired? Were you inspired to create it that way?
Yes, because
Yeah.
it's really, look at this. Look at this. Do you see it?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if it's, oh,
It's a little bit blurry. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
so do you see like he has and his main part of his body he has a bee and she has these beautiful flowers. So it was
Oh,
designed
yeah.
that way specifically because kind of like there is this part when we are reunited into that really truly amazing unconditional love, everything is like it's constructed in such a way that it fits one another perfectly well. So we don't need to work or do any level work over relationships. It's just like
Yeah.
you become that flower which attracts your bee.
Yeah. I feel like since I've been on my own traveling and just I've been doing things that I would never have done before. And
Mm,
like I do my own, even tarot, like I would never have stepped out and, started my own Instagram page about tarot.
mm.
When I was married, it's just not something that I don't know, I felt kind of shy about it. But now that I'm on my own, I'm like, yeah, what the heck? I'm just gonna do whatever I want. And I don't
So
care what
each and
anyone thinks.
every win which you do in life, it reinforces you, in fact, to do something more. Do I
Mm.
understand you correct?
What was that? Sorry?
I mean, each and every act, what you do, and you kind of have a small win, it reinforces you to do more in life because you told me right now, like, hey, what the heck? I will start this Instagram page.
Yeah, yeah.
Look at
I
this
don't
girl.
know.
So she's amazing. I love it that she just does actions. Those actions reinforce her, right? I'm pretty sure that there will be that special bee attracted to that flower.
you. Yeah, I was very self-conscious before and worried about what people think, and yeah, and now I'm just at a stage where I just do. I mean, I think also because I was, I'm in my 40s now, so it's
Oh my
like
God, you look so young.
I
I
care.
I could never
I
thought
find that
about
yeah,
this.
I find that at this age I just care less and less about what people think, and I just do what I feel.
Mm,
Yeah, I think it's a good
yes.
age.
This is a beautiful, beautiful age, especially, I don't think that the age today matters. We're in the new age, if we really think about this. Because guess what? Look how you look like, right? I start seeing more and more really like people who are in their 50s, 60s. They look amazing. They look amazingly young. It's not what we got used to in the past. And when I see such tremendously amazing examples, I'm just like, oh my God, this is a truly new age here.
Yeah. Yeah, well, yeah, the same. Like I've met people and I just assumed that they were younger than me. And, they've told me that they're in their 50s. I'm like, what? That's not right. But yeah, I think, yeah, nobody really looks at age anymore. And I just thought, is it just me that's thinking that? But yeah, you just can't tell anymore. And
Yes, because
yeah.
if you think about this, what is even time? What is time
Mm,
if not just a circle? They created a calendar. And by the way,
mm,
there are different calendars. There is Russian calendar, there is Jewish calendar, there is Chinese calendar, there is Indian calendar, there is Roman calendar. There are different calendars here. And what it is, it's just, the circle. Maya
yeah.
calendar, whatever. We were expecting the end of the world when the Maya calendar was ending, but it's still continuing, somehow.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, I read this interesting quote, like I think it was something like, does time even exist? Is time even real, or is it something that we've created?
perception, true,
Because
right?
does time really exist, or do our bodies just get worn out after a lot of use? It's like,
Hmm.
um, yeah.
Yes, I
So
love
who
it.
decided who created time and decided that time, was a thing? Yeah,
Hmm.
I suppose it's one of those things that you start to look at along with a lot of other things, and is this real, or is it just something that was constructed? Yeah, I think there's just so many things in life that we've been told are real, but someone in history decided that it was real, and we've all just adopted that belief. But is it real? Does it really exist? Yeah,
Yes, it's
you
a
can go
very
you can go,
interesting.
you can go
That's a
really
very
deep.
interesting question because, not so
Mm,
long ago, I saw an interesting movie which is called Hypnosis or something like this. So it was about how this whole world, like, is made based on mental constructs. So they were using different mental constructs, making people leave their constructs in the movie, and that's how they were manipulating. It was not like a beautiful movie from that perspective, but for me,
mm,
like as a scientist of this life, it was really interesting because it's just like, oh, so basically it's a mental construct where I am living. These walls around me, right? What you see here around you, blurry stuff, but there are walls. So it's
mm,
some kind of a cubicle, right? So
yeah.
we construct it for ourselves. That's quite interesting just to start seeing it that way.
Yeah.
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 By the way, Jacqueline, I really, really enjoyed our topics today, which we
Yeah,
touched. It's
me
just
too.
really enlarging my perception, honestly, and I hope for everyone around us here.
Oh,
I
nice.
don't want to take too much of your time. I see that you are quite busy woman. So just because of that, I want to thank you for absolutely all these insights which you
Oh,
brought
thank you.
here. Before I let you go, I
Mhm.
want some kind of a gift from you, from all those who are listening to us today. Which kind of advice, just one thing you would give to them so that to inspire them to take action, to take action and do
Yeah.
really fast things in their life. Let it be love, relationships, career uplift to change, starting traveling, whatever it is.
Yeah. Well, my advice would be to always listen to your heart. I mean, it might not always seem like the easiest thing to do or even the right thing to do, but your heart always knows more than what your brain knows. So, yeah, even if it feels uncomfortable, even if everybody tells you that it's wrong, just follow your heart because your heart knows the big picture, and
Mm.
it'll always work out if you follow your heart. And if you're in doubt, pull out your tarot cards or get someone that you trust to pull cards for you, and you'll most of the time you'll find that the cards actually validate what you feel in your heart, telling you that it's the right thing to do. So
Mm.
yeah, it's my advice.
Thank you so much. It was a
Thank
really, really
you.
exciting talk,
Thank you for
Jacqueline.
having me.
I hope that these messages will serve all of you beautiful souls in a tremendously wonderful way. And for example, I really love when I meet some living representation who did that, so that I could learn from them just on the spot. Thank you,
Yeah,
Jacqueline. It was
thank
amazing.
you so much.